Why does St. Louis Tea Party Coalition need a lobbyist? Frankly, it doesn't. Gary Wiegert is a very strong advocate for our positions. He believes in limited government, limited by constitutional principles, open government, so that we can see what's going on, and fiscally responsible government, so that they're not spending money they don't have, or we don't have. He does that. Because he has a son who's in college in mid-Missouri, he spends a lot of time in and around Jefferson City. We've asked him, when he's going there, if he would mind conveying our message to legislators. He does that. Is Gary a conservative? Yes. Gary believes in the Tea Party principles that I just talked about. He's supporting very strongly our position on right to work. We believe that private sector employees should have the same freedoms and privileges as public sector employees, the kind that Gary enjoys. Right now in Missouri, they don't. Missouri is a closed shop state, except for public employees who get to have the freedom of choice. You know, the reason that Missouri has its ethics laws that require people who are doing lobbying to register is because they want the process to be more transparent. They don't want backroom deals. They want the public to know who's talking to legislators and executive branch folks on whose behalf. Now, advocates of transparency should be very happy that we are being so transparent, maybe more transparent than we have to be. Now, I understand that the Tea Party principles often conflict with the principles of certain unions, but I also know from experience that membership in a union does not disqualify you from being a conservative. Not by a long shot. As a matter of fact, my first book, The Conservative Manifesto, which I wrote in 1993, is dedicated to a firefighter, my Uncle Pat. He's also a very learned man, great man. He retired as a battalion chief in the St. Louis Fire Department in the late 70s or early 80s. Here's a picture of my Uncle Pat and my Aunt Lil. They drove me down to the riverfront in November of 1984 to see Ronald Reagan speak just before the election that year and about a week before I went off to boot camp in Orlando for the United States Navy. Now, Uncle Pat worked hard to make sure that his firefighters union remained true to its core principles and to make sure that his country remained true to its. Gary Wiegert has done the same with the St. Louis Police Officers Association. Now, I asked Gary to register. He didn't do it on his own. He's not a professional lobbyist. He's just a guy who believes what we believe and wants to advocate that, and I want to keep him out of trouble. That's why I asked. I did that on my own. I didn't consult anyone except a lawyer who agreed that he was getting close to the line. But you know what? I didn't consult anyone else when I posted on my blog, why don't we have a St. Louis Tea Party back in February of 2009? I understand that some people are critical of things, but if you're going to be critical of this decision, please blame me, not Gary. This was my decision.